Hi, healer. Today I want to talk about removing guilt and shame in order to help the healing process. And so the first thing that we need to do is identify your trauma wounds without them identifying you. Sometimes we don't realize it, but we actually hold on to our trauma or own our trauma instead of letting it be a part of us. We actually um, we let it infiltrate our personality and make it become part of who we actually are and how we act out from day to day. Instead of just accepting the trauma as an occurrence, it becomes part of us. And so we'll start with identifying with our strengths and our weaknesses outside the trauma. You are the you that was created by God with or without your scars. If you can use your trauma wound as a catalyst for change in your life and over. You found a place to send that affliction to motivate. The results of abuse and trauma hold space. Believe me, I've tried to give it to Jesus and make believe it doesn't hold space. And still, Jesus doesn't want me to carry this burden, but the scars are evident, just like the scars on Christ's hands, his palms. They said that you'll know him by the scars on his palm, right? Well, that's an indication of the trauma that Christ actually went through. So there are going to be marks of trauma in our life, but it's pertinent that we don't internalize it. Just like Jesus put his death out to bless us, we can put ours out for others, our trauma, our death, right? Because in actuality, there's death that takes place. God does not put burdens on us. His yoke is easy, his burden is light. A part of your innocence and trust dies with abuse and trauma. That's the death that takes place. A part of you dies when you get traumatized. When you heal these, it's a resurrection within yourself. So when you actually move away from the trauma and as internalizing it, instead of letting it be a representative in your life to something that it's a part of the human experience, you internalize it and it moves with you. But if you can let that part of you die that internalized it, you can resurrect as somebody else, somebody different, someone who's healed. So then I want to talk about in the Garden of Gethsemane when Christ was ready to die and he asked God to take the cup from him. What he actually was asking to take from him, it wasn't like he didn't want to do his job because he knew what his job was. And it's not that Jesus needed to die because you were this awful sinner and that you killed Christ and that you put Jesus on the cross. That's not true. Whether you were born or not, Christ would have died on that cross. And so, what was the cup that he wanted to pass that he didn't want to take? And he asked God to take the cup from him. Well, he had just suffered immense amount of betrayal by people he cared for, and he was dying. They actually put him on the cross after all of his care and concern. They tried to sacrifice for a bag of coins, even, right? So for a bag of coins, Judas was willing to raise it. So the cup wasn't that Christ didn't want to die for you, and that you put him there because of your sins. Like I said, whether you were alive or not, he would have died. Don't ever think that you put Jesus on the cross because of your sin. God used Jesus. God became Jesus. God was the plan, and it was God's plan. It has nothing to do with us. God does what he wants to do. So he had this cup that he wanted God to take from him. He was asking God to release him from the burdens that he had. And so God did release him from the burdens and he was able to go to the cross. And so if you can ask God to release you from the burdens of guilt and shame and from the unnecessary um, identity we hold to our trauma, to abuse that happened to us, and we can get free like Christ did that day. and just lay it out before God. And so I just wanted you to do that. Lay your shame and your guilt before God and forgive betrayal. Okay. Bye.